Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. Today, we have another set of 3 crazy revenge stories for you. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Imagine if you met Karen, but as a man. Here we go. Father endangers his kid to tell me off, ends up calling the police for himself. A few weeks ago, I was driving in my neighborhood playing Pokemon Go. Not while driving, obviously. The end of my neighborhood has a Pokestop that I collect items from every day, as you get bonus items if you collect from stops every day. This particular day was my 7th day, meaning I'd get even more items and would start over from day 1 on the next day. I drove to the stop, got the items, set my phone on my passenger seat, and went home. The road I was driving on was 20 miles per hour, but I was going about 12 or 13 miles per hour. I drive up a small hill and turn a corner when a wild family appears, including the a-hole dad, AD. The wife, her friend, and 3 kids walking by them stepped off to the side of the road to let me pass, but as I was going by, AD, who had a young boy about 3 or 4 years old in one arm and holding a Budweiser bottle in the other, important later, actually stepped closer to my car and yelled something at me. Being as I'd gotten into an accident recently and was trying to be as safe as possible, I stopped the car, rolled down my window, and asked if he was all right. The conversation went as follows. Me: "Are you guys all right? Why'd you do that?" AD: "You see my family, right?" Me: "Yeah? What about them?" "You know you were driving too fast for this neighborhood, right?" I should point out that I live in Illinois, and while my car was being repaired from the accident, I had a loaner car with Wisconsin plates. "Sir, I was only going about 12 miles per hour, and the limit is 20 here. I wasn't driving too fast." "Well, you almost hit me and my son." "Yeah, 'cause you stepped close to a moving vehicle. The only one putting you guys in danger was yourself." He then looks at my phone in the passenger seat. "I don't know the laws in Wisconsin, but here in Illinois, you can't be on your phone while driving. I'm calling the police." "I don't know the laws either. This car's just a loaner. I live here in Illinois." "Then you should know the laws. I'm calling the cops." Well, have fun with that. And with that, I just left. I know I probably should have stayed, but since I didn't actually do anything wrong, I wasn't taking his threat seriously. I went home and made some ramen to eat. As I was sitting in my dining room, I look out the window and nearly choke on my noodles. He followed me home. He was on his cell phone with the dispatcher, and I thought I was screwed. About 5 minutes later, 2 cop cars with 3 police officers, PO1, PO2, and PO3, who didn't really talk throughout the whole thing. I stepped outside thinking I was done for. The officer started to question the 2 of us. PO1: "OP, do you know why we're here?" "I have a pretty good idea what you think you're doing here, but why don't you let me know?" "This gentleman called us saying you attempted to run his family over after you got caught texting while driving and going way over the speed limit." My mind went blank for a few seconds. This jerk actually said that I'd attempted vehicular manslaughter. My mind started working again, and I said, "Sir, that could not be farther from the truth. I was driving home from playing Pokemon Go on my phone when this man stepped close to my car while I was driving. My phone was on the passenger seat the entire ride home." "He's lying. He nearly killed my family. Arrest him now." PO2: "Sir, calm down. We'll settle this." PO1: "OP, what was this man doing when the incident occurred?" Suddenly an idea popped into my head, and right there, on the fly, the revenge started. He was walking with his family along the side of the road, carrying a young boy on one arm and holding a beer bottle in the other. "That's not true, you piece of garbage." "Sir, control yourself." As I drove by them, the rest of his family went to the side of the road, but he actually stepped closer to my car. I think he got within an inch of me. "This is BS. He's just trying to protect himself." PO1: "Sir, if what he's saying is true, you could actually be arrested here, not him." PO2: "Are you sure that's what happened?" Me: "Positive. He got way too close to my moving vehicle holding a child and a bottle of Miller Lite." "It wasn't Miller Lite. It was Budweiser." He cut himself off and tried to backtrack, but it was too late. All the officers looked at him. He tried to defend himself, but then PO3 said something I thought I would never hear a cop say in my life. "Sir, have you had anything to drink this evening?" He now very less confidently replies, "No." They move him to one of the cop cars and give him a breathalyzer test. 0.12%, just over the limit. "Gotcha, a-hole." He ended up confessing to them that I was right and he was arrested for public intoxication and child endangerment. He has to go before a judge to determine if he's a danger to his family. The officers asked if I wanted to press charges, but I told them no, since he already had enough on his plate to deal with. Edit. I'm about to appear in court to dispute the traffic ticket I received from my accident I mentioned in this story. It'll be the third time in a year I appear in a courtroom. I really didn't want to go back if I didn't have to, which is a big reason why I didn't press charges. I might have to go and be a witness if his case progresses enough, though. My neighborhood is a very small private neighborhood. It used to be all summer houses long before I was born. You could go for a walk for about 90 minutes and walk everywhere in my neighborhood. From my house to where the incident occurred was a 2 to 3 minute walk, so the guy most likely followed me as soon as I drove away, and I didn't notice because I just wanted to get away from him. And our next story. EK chops down my tree, costs her 500,000 pounds, $700,000. It's been 2 years, and I can finally post about this. This is juicy, so get ready. Background information. We live in an old and big manor that's been split into 3 attached houses. The houses are about 150 years old and were built around 5 huge giant sequoias, which were around 200 years old. In the UK, giant sequoias are very rare, and the 2 in our garden up the house price by about £60,000. We live next to 2 really nice neighbors, one young couple, one old couple. The story. Unfortunately, our old neighbors passed away, so their child and her family moved in. Let's call her Jo. Jo was instantly a pain in the butt. We'd been sharing chickens with the previous neighbors, and Jo agreed to keep sharing them. However, on her night, she would constantly forget to put them away, so we'd have to check them every night anyway. One night, her little brats thought it'd be funny to open our personal duck pen in the night, which leads to a mass slaughter later as the chickens went the same way. About 2 years ago, there was a storm, and one of her sequoias somehow fell over and died. They were distraught, understandably, but from then on, the jealousy started. She would constantly complain about how lucky we were to have 2 sequoias in our garden, and how our sequoia was making too much shade in their garden. It wasn't. Anyway, we just thought it was Jo being a pain. There were a few dry threats like they'd chop it down or maybe the next storm will blow it down, until we came back from a holiday to France to find a huge 6-meter stump and nothing else. I mean, how the F do you get rid of a 100-foot tree in like 2 weeks? 2 of our old British oak trees had been crushed as well. My mom and sisters were crying, my dad was red in the face, and we had no evidence Jo had done it. She claimed that there had been a storm and she had to get rid of it. We had a security camera at the front of the house, but you can get in the back if you go through a few fields. We were then given an 8,000-pound bill for damages to her property and to have the tree chopped up, and remove the wood alone would have been worth a small fortune. We'd lost all hope, and 2 weeks had passed when my dad came running in from the garden. We had put a wildlife camera a few months ago, and it caught everything. We got a lawyer on the phone and started our revenge. We got a tree surgeon out who said it was an original specimen brought into the UK in 1860. Along with the 2 that were in Elveston Castle Country Park, there were 218 around the UK, but only 60 now. He also told us to call out an engineer because the roots might be in the foundation, so when they rot, it could damage the house. Turns out we'd need to redo the foundations. Then we took Jo to court and sued them for damage to property, trespassing, and lots of other small claims. The tree would cost $250,000 to have another sequoia that was 200 years old put in and looked after. It's basically impossible. Plus the damage to the foundation, which was $200K, and the 2 oaks, which were another $25K. So with the smaller claims, it went to about 500,000 pounds, $700,000. They had to move out. And we've now paid off the mortgage, done a lovely loft and kitchen conversion, and have basically done up the house and garden, as well as plant a 60-year-old sequoia tree in the back garden. We also had our kitchen counter and table made from the old sequoia. We now have a new lovely family living next to us who we share chickens, ducks, and pygmy goats with. They're very nice, and I make a fortune babysitting their kids. And our next story. Karen demands her price. Maybe this does not classify as revenge, but I think it's close enough. Years ago, I worked selling furniture. Horrible woman comes in, demanding, condescending, rude, and entitled. She finally found a piece she liked in our clearance section. The price was marked at $599. She demanded it for $550 and that we pay all the taxes on said item. Our sale was to pay the taxes on said item, 6% where I live. She starts yelling at me that I better find a manager to do my job, and she'll get this price because she knows a lot of people that work here. Senior level management/owners, she claimed. My uncle owned the company, so I excused myself to go find my manager and see how much he wants to entertain Karen. We start looking up the item. The price tag on the item was old. The current price was down to $477, so guess who thought she won while paying $550? If she would have been even slightly decent as a human being towards me, it would have saved her more money. Part of the problem, though, is that now she does think she can get her way by pulling this crap. Love the revenge, hate that it reinforced her butt-face attitude. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.